Good morning. Coming at you live on this cloudy, dreary Thursday morning, O'Fallon, Illinois. This is a live Q&A on Periscope right now. There could be a replay later on, which you're probably going to see. But this is live. Tends to be Thursdays, but if you want to be able to participate in these Q&As, make sure to follow me on Twitter. I do different ones now and again, but I seem to have the best engagement over Twitter, and Periscope. So leaning towards that. My name is Tyler Douthit. I'm a top 2% Amazon seller and the king of earbuds, as I call myself, outside of Apple and outside of Samsung, people that bundle earbuds with phones. Outside of those kind of companies, I am the largest earbud seller in North America, the largest earbud seller on Amazon, and expanding into different entrepreneurial ventures with real estate, intellectual property, acquisition for royalties, and things like that. And that's a lot of what I do. Currently have one employee, which does most of the packing of the stuff, and I'm going to be hiring a second person probably in the spring. Let's see what else is going on. Started a podcast. Well, I've been doing a podcast. My audio has been on SoundCloud and iTunes for a while, but with the increasing prominence and importance of audio, starting to do more audio-only content. So I've started a weekly podcast about life and world things, my thoughts and takes on things, smart, funny. Hey, they're coming in, Shy Town Hustler. They're called the TD Project. You can go to thetdproject.com to be able to follow. And it's going to be on the Tyler Douthit channels on iTunes and on SoundCloud. And that's going to come out once a week. Episode 1's already up, so please check it out if you're interested. But all the audio otherwise on SoundCloud and iTunes, there's a lot of it, things like this, the car talks, different videos I do, which the audio stripped from those. But this is some of the first things that's going to be audio exclusive content that you can only get on the podcast. I think audio moving forward is going to be a key market that everyone with any interest and attention should get into, because it saves time and you can multitask things. Like me, I will listen to a podcast, something like Gary Vee or Andy Frisella or something like that while I'm working, and you can't do that with video. So it saves time and allows you to multitask. Asynchronous, fancy computer science term. It allows you to do more than one thing at a time. And that allows you to consume content while doing something else, and that's always a winning situation. Podcasting was bigger, maybe early, mid-2000s, before everybody had video. Now everybody has video, such as things just like this. Everyone's got an HD camera in his or her pocket, so video really had an explosion. Then people are realizing now that you can't really multitask video as easily as you can with audio. This is going to be a big thing moving forward. And things like Google Home, Amazon, Alexa, all these things that you can just say, oh, play this, and while you're doing something else, it'll do it for you. That's only going to push the prominence of voice moving forward. And these things take years to really take effect and change, but early adopters tend to be the ones to reap the biggest rewards. So that's where I'm at with things going on right now. Please ask any questions at all. Tyler Douthit, top Amazon seller, big into personal finance, different kinds of investments, entrepreneurship. I started getting involved with local community of stuff, talking to high schoolers to give them insights into business and what it's actually like to start and run a business from someone that runs a business versus someone that talks about running a business, having never had run a business. I think it's a lot more valuable that way, people that have been there, kind of the first-hand experience. So please ask any questions about anything you want. I'll be happy to answer on the fly here. I know this stuff is screened, so anything that comes up, I will be happy to answer. I'll give you my honest opinion on anything, really. I'm not always right, but I'm right a lot more than I'm wrong. And I would answer any questions. So as you're coming in, please feel free. And until those questions come in, I'll keep on my own spiel here. I sell earbuds, and I'm what I consider the king of earbuds, kind of to feed an ego kind of term. Sell earbuds on Amazon under the brand TFD Supplies. Hey there, pensive poet, please feel free, any questions. I sell earbuds under the brand TFD Supplies. Thanks for the hearts. And sell them on Amazon on my own site, directly to schools. A big, huge market move, in excess of 10,000 earbuds a day on average. They are catered primarily towards the bulk market, and these are things that people might need 100, 1,000, 5,000. If you need 5,000 earbuds for your school, your price, of course, is going to be a serious thing, because if you buy one, going from $1 to $2, difference, not a big deal. If you're looking for 1,000, going from $1 to $2 is going to be $1,000 difference. So as that goes up, and I sell them for 55 cents each. 55 cents each, 12 color options, and based on those, allow me to take over Amazon, take over the school market, a lot of repeat orders, people buying over and over and over again. Sales up so this year 87% over last year as of the end of September, and that's what's going on. So I get those from a factory overseas, repackage, reship them, and I was able to get hey, they're coming in F69H, I think 609H, and so I do a lot of the earbud selling, buying and selling, and that's allowed me to scale as sales increase, and I kind of push my expansion further. Now I'm also, I think, the largest earbud seller in Canada on Amazon, and kind of push into there. I'm looking probably early mid next year to really move into the European markets. Mostly just a lot of paperwork and red tape hassles when you're dealing internationally, especially in languages you don't speak. And I speak English pretty well. I don't speak other languages nearly as well. So if you're going to deal in French and all the paperwork is in French, then that's a barrier. And not to say you can't cross it or get through it, but it's a thing. And I think right now money and time is best spent maximizing the USA market versus moving to too many other countries and trying to get started versus ramping up an established business. And I think that's going to be a better path to returns and dominance. Anybody, please feel free. Got a quiet bunch today. I'm happy to answer any questions. Personal finance, selling on eBay, selling on Amazon, podcasts, investing, my thoughts on different markets, Amazon driverless cars, anything. I'll be happy to answer any questions, even political stuff, give my opinion on anything like that. In light of the horrible, horrendous tragedies happening in our great country, people taking lives for no real apparent reason, sad. I would love to see change happen to actually prevent and stop any of these massacre situations, versus thoughts and prayers for the victims and their families, which is helpful for this round of victims and families either, but not helpful at all for future victims and families. Hello from Ukraine. Now, Ukraine, I'm not a geographic expert. Ukraine is near Russia, right? Ukraine, in Ukraine, I think it's part of the former Soviet Union, as they call that here in the States. Hello. So please, but feel free, no questions yet, please feel free to answer any kind of questions at all. People are watching. I guess my rambling is just that good. There's no need for any kind of questions. But I'll provide the most value with any kind of questions you have. Last time it was interesting topics the last time. Sorry, I'm outside here. My daughter's at her speech therapy at the school across the street. Last time I did lots of different talks. Talked about ecosystems and animals and the natural balance of things. Talked about Trump. Talked about North Korea, talked about a couple ones ago, people looking to get exposure for their charities. That one I thought was nice because with things like Snapchat and Instagram and the story features, you can document and attach stories to people versus ideas. And if you can latch someone on with a story of a particular individual suffering from some sort of disease or condition, then that will really attach them to your cause. I'd like more assistance on selling on Amazon as an author. Now, are you looking for ebooks, or are you looking do you have a published book, either self or through a publisher, like physical books, or are you thinking like ebooks, or both? Because that's an important distinction. But until I get the answer, I'll go with that. Self-publishing has really become much more acceptable than it used to be. Oh, self-published, both. Okay, it used to be self-published. What? Yeah, it must be a loser, right? No one will publish them anymore. It's not near the case. It's much more accepted now than it used to be. If you're any good, it's not that hard to stand out from the crowd. Selling on Amazon, it's hard to stand out because the supply is so much there. So it's hard to get attention for things that with so much demand, what I'd probably do, I would list your books physically on there, and you can do it through Prime, through things like that. Also, the ebook is not a bad idea. It's a growing market, so the ebook on the listing as well. So I list both on there, but you're probably already doing that if you're looking to sell on Amazon. I'm guessing you're not selling as much as you want to, which who is, right? Everybody wants to sell more, myself included. So nothing wrong with that. What I would probably do from there is, I don't know what kind of genre, if you're willing to chime in what kind of genre, a topic, something like that, I'll give more specific advice. But I would say, generally speaking, you can reach out to influencers via Twitter, Instagram. Those are the primary two where I would start. And because there's lots of podcasts, there's people on Twitter, all this, that will review and give their opinions on things. And like a lot of things, the numbers game. But if you send you can do on the Twitter search. Still, Twitter is not as what's the right word? Not as hip and cool as it used to be. But it's still super prominent and important. And you can reach out to people on Twitter. You can do a search for say book discussion, podcast author podcast, something like that. People that are in the world of reviewing and talking about books of interest to them and their followers. And you do a bunch of people. You can tweet at 100 people and say, I've got a book, I'd love to send you a copy if you want to take a look at it. Most will ignore it. You won't hear back from probably most of them, maybe 99%, but one probably will. And if it's any good, then you can go from there. A lot of it's legwork. The same idea for Instagram. The DMs are a little more throttled, so you can't send as many without being throttled back once in a while. But when that happens, you come back an hour later, a day later, and keep doing it. The topic is creativity and applying it to business and life overall. Creativity, very important trait in people and business, I would say. So the same rule kind of applies. Reaching out to people, it's a numbers game. Maybe only 1% of various influencers will respond or acknowledge your tweet or your DM. But if a couple do, and you keep doing that, maybe half an hour, maybe an hour a day for a month, and then you'll realize that if it's good content, it will start to float to the top of the options. Because if it's good and you reach out to some person that they're willing to read through a few pages, a couple chapters, the whole book, give the thoughts on it, and say it's pretty good ideas, that's going to lend itself to the credibility of your name as an author, as well as to any published works that you put out and put in these books. So it's a numbers game. My thoughts, a lot of things in life are a numbers game. And sometimes you have to just ask, and some will say, okay. And of course, if the content sucks, and I can't say your content is good or bad, I have no idea, you could be the best author ever, you could really, really suck. If the content is good, it will rise to the top of things if you're willing to put in the hard work behind it. If it's bad, no amount of work is really going to help. And I'm not saying it's bad by any means. I don't know your work at all. But it's kind of like if you polish a turd, it's still a turd. Of course, if you take a diamond and polish it up, then it's an extra sharp diamond. So you can take that as you will, but hard work is the key, and grinding out, reaching. You can, and on that regard too, you can even do Google search for different people, because a lot of people have their own website, myself included. You're very welcome. I'm glad I could provide some kind of value. And a lot of people still do email, myself included. I'll respond to cold emails. People email me for different things. They'll say, the other day some guy wanted to help edit videos. I'm like, all right, I'm going to give you a shot, see what kind of work you do. A lot of times, if you want something from someone else, I think you have to be willing to give first. Free copies, free advice, free value, like these things here. I make all of my money on the business, so I provide all of this absolutely free of charge to provide value to people, to maybe ask for something in the future. Maybe I do a book 5 years from now, and maybe then I ask people to buy a book. Maybe not, but I provide value first. And unlike many people, this is a tangent here. I'm not selling a course. I'm not selling an ebook. I'm not selling a seminar. I'm not selling a membership. Sign up now, $500 a month for the master class. No, this is all free, unbiased information, because I have nothing to gain from giving anybody anything untrue. Because if I want to have credibility behind my name and my reputation, I have to be willing to be honest and stick with what I say and believe in what I say. And I believe, just like I said before, if the content is decent and provides some kind of value over time, it continues to rise to the top. And patience is the ultimate key. I'm fortunate enough that I don't have to make any money with my personal branding, so I can continue to just give. And I'll give first, maybe ask if ever, but I think the longer you can go without asking, the more successful you'll be when you ask. Because people will feel so bad, they'll feel so indebted, they'll think, oh my God, that guy, that girl, that man, woman gave me so much, I will feel bad and not sleep at night if I don't give that person support right now. If you give so much, they'll feel bad. It's kind of like when your parents ask you to do a favor, you feel bad saying no because you think, they've given me so much, what am I going to do? Like when you feel bad saying no because someone has given you so much already, same kind of mentality. And if I can give people so much that they feel bad saying no, well, that's pretty good. A case of leverage to be in. It's always good to have somebody owe you one versus you owing someone else one. Any further questions, please? I'm happy to answer a question. I had the one about that. Anything further? eBay, Amazon, personal finance, politics, podcasting, driverless cars. I'm a big fan of the idea. One thing I've been thinking about a lot lately is, and it's been coming up, is electric cars are becoming more and more common, and I think are going to be the future. The question which I wonder, and I don't think has been addressed that well yet, is how do you get them charged up quickly? Because you can go to a gas station with your gas-powered vehicle, fill up your tank 5 minutes, be on your way, drive another 4 hours. If you have to wait hours or an hour for a charge or something like that, it's going to be a long time, and the technology, as far as I'm aware, isn't there yet to charge a battery and the kind of batteries that power cars in 5 minutes to full capacity. I don't think is there yet. That's a challenge that I'm sure technology will face. And of course, the big granddaddy of all power things, which is going to revolutionize our world in ways we can't even imagine yet, wireless electricity, which is now in its infancy, not even infancy, is a little a seahorse inside the womb, kind of like that small. But there's been technological advancements that allow you to charge a mobile device over Wi-Fi. Yes, it's like 1/100 of a volt, which is not practical for anything, but it's a start. So you could imagine if you could, because that's pretty much sending voltage over radio frequency. So imagine if you updated your router firmware and suddenly now your phone and laptops charge and tablets charge just by being on the Wi-Fi. Now that would be incredible. Now it's going to be a while till that becomes practical, but of course it's just all a progression of steps. And in 50 years from now, when you can send power a mile, 5 miles, 10 miles, 100 miles, then all that'll be gone. Then houses won't need, you can imagine the infrastructure changes when you don't have to have any wires to send power, how that would affect vehicles, planes, lots of interesting things like that. And that'll happen eventually. Do you have any more questions? Oh, it was my pleasure. Thank you for your question and for following. I got maybe about 5 more minutes here. Please, I'd be happy to answer another question or two. I got just a couple minutes until my daughter's done with her speech therapy here. Yeah, maybe 5 minutes at the tops. So I can do another question or two. So if you're people watching, someone like Joe Smith 4. So if you're watching, please consider asking a question. I'd love to provide some kind of value to you, so please ask any question at all. You got me. I will give you undivided attention. I promise I will not sell you anything, ask you to sign up for a course, ask you to come to a seminar or anything like that. Pick my brain free of charge right here on the spot. So if you've thought before about selling on Amazon, about selling on eBay, you have a question about personal finance, here's I was talking about that. I'm starting to push, I've had it on my list of things to do for a while, but starting to push a lot towards a save 25% campaign, because I've thought it through a lot and I feel so many of the world's problems would be alleviated if people saved more money, because then when life throws you a curveball, you don't have to make as poor of choices. And you have better options to choose from. So instead of taking a payday loan for 100%, you can take some money out of your savings. When you get that bill for your MRI, because our healthcare system in this country is jacked up for-profit healthcare, horrible idea, whole different topic. But when you get that expensive medical bill for something, then you have something to fall back on as well, cushion, because when you are left with so few options, then you have to pick sometimes out of bad options and pick the least bad option, and no one wants to pick out of the least bad options. We want to pick out of good options. So I'm a big proponent. I'm going to start pushing it more, I think, on my different channels of saving 25% of your income, because then when life throws you a curveball, you're ready. That will help people retire, which will less stress, Social Security, Medicare, pensions, all these things like that. Kid choices, options for people. It's just going to help. It's just going to help. People are, I think, most people that aren't getting ahead financially, most people, I'm not oblivious to real world problems, but most people are unwilling to do what it takes to get ahead financially because they value short-term things versus long-term things. And I think that that's something that people need to realize. Patience and long-term. If you start investing $100 a month when you're 22, when you're 60 and 70, it's a lot. Instead of going to the bar go to the bar one less time a week, and you have $100 extra in your pocket already. And choices like that, which are not always the most fun choices, but are the ones that you're grateful for when you're older, are choices people need to make. One question was here. I'll answer anything I can before I got to go there, Eric James, so please ask it quickly. I'll get to whatever I can before I got to go. The other one, do I weight train? I was going to the gym for a while. I don't weight train anymore. Right now I just do like push-ups and pull-ups. I'm on a thing. I turned 35 in March to do 25. I'm working on a quest. I had to lose 23 pounds, which could put me at 190 when I get there. I'm on my way already. And to do 25 chin-ups and 50 push-ups back-to-back, which I'm not there yet. I started that just about a month ago. I got about 5 months till to my birthday, but that's my goal to have by then. I've got maybe time for, one more question. I got to go here in a minute. I'll start wrapping it up, so please get it in before I got to go. Again, my name Tyler Douthit. I got a personal brand all over social media. Personal branding, going hard into the podcasting with exclusive content now called The TD Project. So go to thetdproject.com, like THETD Project.com, or look up The TD Project on Facebook. Weekly podcast about relevant world topics. If you think you like what I have to say, consider following on there. Again, 100% free. But that's under the Tyler Douthit channel on SoundCloud and the Tyler Douthit channel on iTunes. Both of those free. Please consider listening, sharing, rating, reviewing if you like it. If not, that's cool too. But if you like anything I have to say, you might like what I have to say more if you can listen to it in long form on your convenience. Like yesterday's episode, the first episode, 53 minutes of audio. Something to think about. And that's not just me, it's also Ben, who works with me, and also his wife, who is a very interesting character. She's a good addition to the show. Fun, interesting content. So anyway, I gotta go. Wish I could have answered more questions. Thank you very much for listening, for following. I hope I provided some kind of value. If I did, consider liking, sharing, reviewing. I'll respond to every single DM, tweet personally. If I didn't provide value, please unfollow, unfriend, everything you can to me. If I did, thank you very much for listening and watching. Have a great day today.